Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to a very special digital version of Comic-Con at Home 2020. A huge thanks to Comic-Con International for putting this together. And we're heartbroken that we can't be in San Diego this year. I can't imagine a year without Comic-Con, but this is where we are. You know, The Walking Dead is a show about adapting, and so that's what we're doing. We're adapting, and I'm so glad that we're able to bring this panel and all these amazing people that are going to be here today. And we hope that you enjoy this. We really, really miss you. So we're going to break this up because there's so many people and there's a lot to talk about. We're going to break this up into two groups. So, but before we do, I want to say that the season 10 finale that never aired will finally air. It has an air date of Sunday, October 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. And then the Walking Dead finale will be directly followed by the series premiere of The Walking Dead World Beyond, and then an all-new episode of Talking Dead, where we're going to basically just break down everything from both episodes. So it's sort of like a mega episode of Talking Dead. But before I introduce the group, why don't we take an extended look at the first few minutes of the season 10 finale? We have it, so we'll just show it to you. Here it is.
Sorry.
Damn it. Yeah, me too.
I'm scared.
But you're safe up here.
We've seen how many are coming. Lots more than we have.
You see these fingers? Not much to look at, right? But together, they make a mighty weapon. That's who we are. Alexandria, Hilltop, Oceanside, people of the kingdom.
Is that enough?
I'm not done yet.
Who's that for?
The others. The ones that aren't here. Go, go! Come on! Those that might find us help. Or come here and help. Together, we will fight. And that's how we will survive. Together.
All right, so here we are. Let's start the panel. We have Daryl Dixon, Melissa McBride, Corey Payton, Ross Marquand, Angela Kang, Greg Nicotero, who directed the season 10 finale, and Walking Dead Universe content chief content officer Scott M. Gipple is here as well. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our virtual Comic-Con. I miss all of you so much. I really can't wait to see you in person. Thank you so much for being here to do this virtual version of the Comic-Con panel. We lack the 7,000 screaming people, so they'll just be in our heads. Every time you say something, just imagine. But Angela, we saw the clip that Beta is coming for the group, and walkers are acting strangely, I guess is a good word for that. So what can you say about what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, Beta is used to being the beta, and Alpha would tell him what to do, and that kind of worked for him. And, you know, we found out that he was once a country music star, and he loved the roar of the crowd, speaking of the kind of, like, that he lived off of that. And he's had to find some other voice to kind of tell him what he's got to do now that he's the beta alpha hybrid. So, you know, we'll see kind of what happens from there. And that's kind of how he's about.
I mean, they've basically become like his fan group, right? Basically, like the herd is now like the fans that would have been at his concerts, I imagine, before the apocalypse. Like he's being driven by the energy of the crowd.
Yeah, you know, he and Alpha talked about liking the walkers and the sounds of the walkers. You know, he's soothed by it, and so that's the closest thing that he has to like a screaming fan base that follows him around and, you know, also kind of guides him.
Greg, you directed the season 10 finale, so what are you most excited for the fans to experience as Beta closes in on the group?
Well, you know, I loved the last few shots of episode 15 where you see Beta with the thousands of walkers sort of advancing on the tower. You know, I mean, I really got to give Angela and the writers a huge thumbs up, because I felt like the trajectory of this season, the way that the season built, it just felt like every episode gave you something more than the episode before. It just felt like you were on this really great ride. So in this particular instance, you know, our people, we know that they know how to move within the herd. We've seen it since season 1, episode 2, when they put the walker guts on themselves. But they've never had to maneuver within a herd that has human beings in it as well. So the whole challenge for them trying to figure out how they're going to get out of the situation is they can't just be as stealthy as they usually are, because there's actually people, there's whisperers in and amongst the herd of walkers. So that sort of ups the stakes quite a bit.
Norman, Daryl had a lot on his plate this season. On top of the Whisperer War, there was a very rocky road with Carol. He was having to deal with Negan as a potential ally and what that meant for him internally, and also dealing with how the loss of Michonne affects Judith. So what was the most interesting part for you about Daryl's arc in season 10 so far?
There was a lot of trust issues he was having with Carol. You know, he's sort of, it's like watching a friend have these multiple nervous breakdowns and act on him, but it's also, it was putting certain members of the group in danger, and, you know, we were losing people, and so there was that sort of heartbreak there. Then with Michonne leaving, having to, you know, he promised her he would take care of those children. So he's trying to play daddy and do everything correctly there. And then also watching his friend have a breakdown and trying to be there to support her and keep this group together while we're being attacked. So there were different days were sort of focused on different fights. So mentally, it was pretty exhausting, having to go from all the different, you know, directions. But it was a hard thing for Daryl to do, to have to watch his friend go through that and have to be there for her, but also try to keep up an appearance for Judith, to see that, you know, that he's there for her as well. So he had to be in a lot of different places at the same time, you know.
And do you think is Daryl comfortable with that? Do you think he had this internal struggle of like, just going off and leading a simpler life, solitary, or do you think he's really just all in no matter what at this point?
Dude, he had basically said, "Hey, leave me alone. I built a nice little house in the woods. Can you guys just leave me alone for a little while? I've got this cool dog now. I live on a boat." It's I think he's that kind of character that's always going to be there, but he's always, I don't want to say reluctantly, but he's always being brought into. I mean, I remember when Alpha first shows up, he was just kind of visiting Hilltop, and she's at the door going, "Who's the leader?" And he's looking around, and no one's saying anything. He's like, "Okay, I'll go talk to her." So he's constantly being put in these situations, I think a part of him likes being Uncle Daryl. I think part of it. I think you have those moments with scenes, with Judith, or like the snowball fight that we had when we came back, to Alexandria that one season. I think those moments of kind-hearted laughter and togetherness, I think he needs that as well. I just think he's kind of he's never the guy who initiates them, although I did throw the first snowball. So I don't know.
Jade, this is the most asked fan question so far for you. Jaden Graff 85 on Instagram wants to know, is Daryl itching for a rematch against Beta?
I don't know. He's a big guy. I don't think he really. I think he'd like to shoot him in the ass with an arrow from like a tree far away.
Of course.
But just me personally, Norman. I mean, there is that kind of like "come get me" thing that we joke between each other, but I took a lot of Excedrin and went down the day after that first fight. So,
that's an honest answer right there, because that dude is huge. People don't realize how big that dude is.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, he's enormous.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah,
he's a tall drink of water. That Ryan, he's the sweetest guy in the world. But I guess people forget, when they go, "Hey, are you guys going to beat the crap out of each other?" It's like, well, we kind of have to do that in real life, and that's extraordinarily taxing.
Yeah, and he's got a very big stunt guy too. So yeah, it all hurts for me.
This is a fan question for Scott. I am Davey on Instagram wants to know, but people are very worried about RJ and Judith. So Scott, who are the best potential Guardian candidates for RJ and Judith?
I would think of it another way. The reason I really won't answer that, Chris, is they aren't in. If you look at Judith's history of parents and guardians, like they're the ones in danger. Judith is taking care of herself fine, even taking care of RJ.
That's fair.
Anybody who gets in that position with Judith winds up going. She came into this world with a difficult sort of situation. I'm just saying, I'm not as worried about RJ and Judith as the person taking care of them.
That was Scott, I have to say, of all your deflections, that was probably the best one.
That was good. Although it is the 4,000th question he hasn't answered.
I just feel like Scott's taking dancing classes to just dance around the questions. But that was a good one. That was a very satisfying answer. Melissa, how would you compare Carol at the end of season 10 to where she started at the beginning of the season?
Oh, good grief. Well, at the beginning, I don't know. She's kind of in the same place but different. Same water, different boat. I don't know. But she's trying to make some amends here at the where we left off. At the beginning, she was out getting respite. Trying to find perspective, trying to get out of the eye of the storm. And then she comes back and she's just blinded by, this enormous grief and vengeance and justice, and at the detriment to her friendship with Daryl and the group. A lot of things blow up. She blows up a lot of things. But yeah, what I loved about end episode was the talk that she had with Kelly. And she needed that so badly, just to be reminded that she is a lone wolf. Mm-hmm. And to not lose yourself, just embrace that about yourself and be okay with it.
How do you think her relationship is with Daryl as season 10 is coming to a close? How would you describe it?
I can hear you now, by the way.
Oh.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
That's the quote of the panel right there.
Letter in the gate.
True.
I think, yeah, Lacey letter.
Edward, can you tell us what we can expect from their relationship going forward in season 11? Is it going to be meh, or is it going to be meh? Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they're starting from a point of the but there's, I mean, like the thing about Daryl and Carol is they have one of the coolest relationships on the show. It's so much fun to write for both Norman and Melissa. So, you know, I think like as with any really long, deep relationship with anybody in people's lives, like it gets complicated because they can be real with each other in ways that not everybody can. And but that means that the hurts run deeper. So, you know, all I want to say, like without spoiling it all, is like you kind of start from that point and then they've got a long road to travel. So excited. We're writing some stuff now and we'll see where it all lands.
Fantastic.
This is vodka, by the way. No.
Nice.
Oh, in a box. How environmentally
like a little like milk carton.
Environmentally conscious day drinking. Kari, right now, is Ezekiel, do you think he's running away from his problems, or do you think he's running toward adventure?
I think a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You know, I mean, he's there are definitely aspects of his life that he wants to leave behind. And you know that he's got failed relationships. He's got memories of loved ones that have come and gone. He's built a community and seen it all get kind of toppled. And I think he is looking for a fresh start. And he's also a guy who's got a clock on him. You know, he's got that tick-tock in his brain that says that he's not long for this world, and in a world where nobody's ever seems to have much time, he feels like he's got even less because he's dealing with this cancer, and he's gonna fit his bucket list in some way somehow, you know, and part of a bucket list, I think, of being an apocalypse is to take a dive into the unknown, you know. And so see what's out there, you know, because sometimes there's no planning it. You just gotta, you know, they say you never know, you know, how far the road stretches in front of you. You just got to start driving. You just got to start going. And in this case, he started pedaling. Well, we'll see where he goes.
You know, Ezekiel has always embodied hope to me. So my question is, you know, what is keeping him hopeful now?
I think that the adversity is what gives him hope. Maybe even that thing on his neck gives him some hope, you know, because it's one more thing that hasn't stopped him yet. You know, I think you can get beaten down by an avalanche of things that come your way, and you can let them fall on top of you, or you can let them fall. You can get out of the way, and then you can climb on top, and you can start using all of that crap to stand up on top of it and take you higher. And for me, I see Ezekiel looking at all of this that's happened in his life and all of this loss and all of these times that he was supposed to die and it hasn't gotten him yet. And I think that everything moving forward, he's got every obstacle that's in his path. He can point to this thing on his neck and say, what are you going to do to me? I'm already gone. Get out of my way. What else are you going to do to me? I could drop dead right now. What else are you going to do to me? I might as well keep climbing, you know? And so to me, that's Ezekiel, you know, in a nutshell. I think he started off as a guy who was positive in his searching for the light. And I think he's becoming more aggressive now in his search for the light, you know, as you know, and the kingdom was this thing that he radiated to out to the world for someone to come and find some light, and now he's grasping for it. He's grasping for it.
This is a beautiful answer, by the way. I mean, like a legitimately beautiful answer. Rob,
every once in a while, I say something cohesive. It happens every once in a while.
Rob, can you talk a little bit about shooting the scenes where Aaron and Alden are separated and encounter the masked stranger?
It felt to me like as much of a huge introduction to a character as we saw in season 3 with Michonne. Like that, you know, when we see her finally come into it, it felt like that, and it was just very exciting to see it all come together. That reveal is just so exciting and scary at the same time too, because he looks like something out of a horror movie. You know?
So we just have a few minutes left with this group before we swap out the next group. So I want to ask some rapid fire questions here. So this is for Norman. If Judith had told Daryl the truth about where Michonne went, do you think he would have and should have followed her?
Not at that moment. I feel like there's too many. You have to take care of the kids. You have to take care of the rest of the group. I don't think if he followed Michonne at that moment, I think they could have used his help. So no, not right then. And Michonne can take care of herself.
And Norman Money B on Facebook wants to know, if your life depended on choosing one of the following, what would you choose? Ride a tiny Judith-sized motorcycle for the rest of your life, or get a Normacorn tattoo covering your entire back, which I hope you already have.
You know, I did get one of these little do-it-yourself tattoo kits, so I might do the Normacon. And those little motorcycles like that, you get scoliosis on those little things. So I'd have got the tattoo. Sure.
You'd have got the tattoo. All right.
Good choice.
Max B 2020 on Instagram wants to know, Melissa, what was it like getting to work with Jeffrey Dean Morgan for the first time?
Oh, it was very exciting because there was so much anticipation.
He gets a very exciting, and I got this. Like,
oh, we stepped on a nerve. You know, Norman.
Oh no!
It'd be cool if he appeared in the background of one of the other windows.
Where did he go?
Now we're just staring at that weird purgatory of Norman's background. Yeah, you just appear out of the darkness.
It was delightful.
Gatlin Chi 27 on Instagram wants to know, Kari, how do they make the lump on Ezekiel's neck look so real? What's the makeup process for that?
Magic. The magic of the nicotarium.
He gets stung by a bee every morning.
Oh wow, that's really commitment. That's really commitment to the role.
It's actually a murder hornet bite, is what it is. Oh, exactly. This was, you know, and we. That's how you know we're ahead of the times. This was pre-murder hornet America. You know what I mean? That we were.
We brought them in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No.
We put a little ice on it, and it goes away about a weekend.
We literally just got a giant wad of cotton and just shoved it down into Kari's throat from the corner.
Oh, that's great. These are the special effect, very revealing.
No, we actually had 2 prosthetic pieces for that because he had hair here. So one of them was a full wraparound because we didn't want to see any edges around the wound. So we did two versions. We had one that wrapped all the way around, and it went underneath his wig and right up to his hairline that Garrett Immel applied. And then we had just a little kind of stick-on kind of transfer prosthetic.
Eric Fangirl on Twitter wants to know, would you like Ross to find a new love interest for next season? He really deserves it, and it would be neat to see the dynamic with Gracie.
Yeah, I feel like Aaron, he's been looking for, I mean, he came very close with Jesus. I think that was you know, we kind of hinted at some sort of relationship in between the 6-year jump. I would love to see that, but I feel like at this point, there's so many threats coming from all angles. Love for Aaron or anybody else for that matter is just not of ultimate importance right now. But I would love to see that, of course. Yeah.
Okay. I hope so too. And that's like navigating personal feelings and relationships in the apocalypse is a whole other, it's like apocalypse. Oh, now all the internal emotional stuff too.
But I don't know if he should have a love interest because everyone who gets close to him dies. Like Eric died, Jesus died. I mean, like he gotta maybe just be fond of someone. Maybe just be fond of someone.
This is for Angela. This is Jimenez Daniel 96 on Instagram wants to know, will season 11 be airing with a different schedule than the traditional October, February releases? It seems that way.
Yeah, you know, obviously COVID has kind of disrupted a lot of things for every workplace, including ours. And so, you know, the writer's room for season 11 has been going remotely for the past few months. We haven't been able to start production, but, you know, we'll get back to work as soon as we safely can. And we will not be airing season 11 episodes this year as we normally would in October. But we're excited to announce an extended season 10. And there will be 6 extra episodes to follow the finale, and those will run in early 2021 if all goes well. We're working on those now, and we'll have more to share soon.
So there are 6 extra episodes for season 10. You're extending season 10 basically by 6 episodes.
Yeah, basically it's an extension of episodes beyond the finale.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah,
that's amazing, guys. I got to go to work.
What are you doing there?
I didn't honestly. I didn't know. Okay, let me book a flight.
Kari, there are literal tweets in your background. There's actual tweeting going on.
That's how it all started.
I want to thank the actors for being here. The producers are going to stay for the next group, but it's so wonderful to see your amazing faces. I miss you. I hope to get to see you in person sometime soon and give you hugs. Norman and Melissa and Kari and Ross, thank you so much for being here. Please stay safe and healthy, and I hope to see you soon.
You too. Thanks for having
us. Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Peace, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, so we're here for the second group from the Walking Dead family. So please help me welcome. We have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, we have Lauren Cohan, we have Seth Gilliam, we have Paula Lazaro, of course, plays Princess, and Eugene himself, Josh McDermott. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, everyone's backgrounds, fantastic. I want to start, first of all, Lauren Cohan, it's so good to see you again talking about The Walking Dead. I know we got to bring you out at New York Comic Con last year, but officially you are back now. So what can you tease about Maggie's return in the finale?
That Maggie feels like doing Comic-Con in your slippers is a great way to move forward.
Well, I thought Maggie would have had more. That's really what she's thought about all this time.
No, I mean, you think Maggie's thinking about a lot. She's thinking about just, you know, a casserole and comfy things. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. Yes, what can I tease? Nothing. Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing, or maybe the most exciting thing, is that it's, you know, she's sort of coming back. It's not just a visit. It's moving from pen pals to real life friends. Her and Carol have been in communication, but it's good. She's coming back.
Yeah. Well, what about, because when we saw you at Comic-Con, I don't think at New York Comic-Con, I don't think you had shot anything yet. So how did it feel how did it feel stepping into Maggie's shoes again?
I just really feel like I never really left on pretty much every level. And then I was so lucky because I got to go beforehand and I was shadowing one of our directors, Daisy Maya. And so I spent a whole month basically catching up with everyone. So when it came time to actually re-inhabit Maggie and act, I was like, cool, I'm not overwhelmed by all the crazy excitement of just seeing everyone. So I don't know, it was amazing. And it's also just such a good catch up and get to know with everybody that I hadn't met yet, like Miss Paula here. And yeah.
Are you interested in directing now at all?
We'll see. Yeah, I'm interested in learning everything that it takes to direct, and just this like, just such an overwhelming respect for what every single person in every department essentially inhabits each of our characters at any one point to try to make the entire world so authentic and alive. And I just had it was mind bending to have the opportunity. So we'll see.
Greg, can you talk about what it was like to be able to direct Lauren again for the finale?
Well, her first day, you know, I went to set early that day and went into her trailer, and we were just we started giggling and laughing. You know, Lauren and I got really close in season 2, and, you know, we've been playing guitar together online the last couple months. And it's different because, like Lauren was saying, you know, we've had a lot of great actors come back for like a little cameo thing. You know, we've had Bernthal, we had Scott, the great, amazing Scott Wilson. You know, we had Rooker. We've had a lot of great actors that come back for like a day or two. But I think knowing that Lauren was coming back as part of the family again, but she never, you know, it is true. Like when you're part of The Walking Dead, you never really leave. Right. We've all been in the trenches together. We've all experienced something that no one else, you can never replace it. So I was really excited to go and sit in the trailer. We both kind of had little butterflies for a second of just like, you know, I walked in and she had her hat on and she had her wardrobe, and it felt really good and it felt really natural. So I was really, you know, I learned a lot from Lauren. You know, when I first started directing on the show, she was who really, and I tell her this a lot, she really taught me a lot about how to work with actors and directing. And I took a lot of that, and I felt like she made me better. So I was excited for us to sort of continue our journey together.
And our biggest moment, Greg, was the circle with Mr. Jeffrey Dean.
Yeah,
I think that was like when we got really close, and yeah, that was not a fun scene, but a very important.
No, that was and Jeffrey literally landed and had 12 pages of dialogue in one night.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good introduction. I wouldn't change a thing.
Angela, now that Maggie is back, what does that mean for the Negan and Maggie dynamic for season 11?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I mean, look, Negan killed Maggie's husband and burnt down her house. So it's not gonna be an easy road, I think, for either of them. And Negan's been on this whole other journey while she's been gone, but it's sort of like Maggie's coming in and she hasn't seen any of that. What she knows is she comes back and Hilltop is destroyed, and the guy that she thought she'd left to rot in prison is out walking around with everybody else. And I think, you know, like these two have to figure out how to occupy the same space. So it will hopefully be really fun. Like these, you know, two amazing actors will try to write to their amazing abilities, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's right, because years have passed, so she's going to show up and he's going to be like, oh, hi, I grow tomatoes now. Like, it's just a whole different...
it's like
I mean, I saved a lot of her
not
friends.
coming back from space.
Jeffrey Morgan has just pointed out that he saved... Yeah.
I have saved a lot of her friends while she's been
almost all of them.
away.
Hopefully,
I'm hoping some people stick up for me a little bit with her.
Yeah, hopefully she's not gonna be like, "Oh my God, he's out of his cage!" Stab, stab, stab.
Yeah. Let's hope there's a bit of a conversation first.
Guys, I got Negan. He was just walking around. Did you guys? How did he get out? But knowing that Negan has now evolved, I guess, and definitely has a soft spot. This is from Instagram. Zarad Jalil wants to know, how do you think Negan would feel if he got to meet Maggie and Glenn's son, Herschel?
Well, I mean, I think that Negan definitely has a soft spot for the younger generation, and we've seen that numerous times. I think he has a relationship with young kids that's very honest, and I don't think that he would shy away from letting that this kid know who he is and try to work through it. And I think that may be a way, and we'll see. I mean, I'm not a writer on this show, but that may be a way that Maggie sees a different side of Negan as well. I think initially she'll just want to kill him, but I think through we'll see what happens. I mean, Negan's gone through such a journey in the last couple of years. It's been such a joy to play. But this redemption arc has been amazing. And yet we still know that in there is Negan. And I don't know that will ever go away. And so he's going to be walking a fine line, especially with Maggie.
This is for Scott from Multi-Show Stan Sis on Twitter. Scott, how do you think things would have been different if Rick and Michonne had decided to kill Negan instead of imprisoning him?
Boring.
Well, we talk about the butterfly. I'm gonna let that.
I guess we got to grow our own tomatoes.
just cut to the alternate timeline, and everyone's like, "There's no tomatoes anywhere. Where are the tomatoes?" There's just a tomato-less society. That would be horrible. Is there an official answer, Scott Gimple?
Well, I mean, we talk about the butterfly effect a lot. A character being there, a character not being there. We showed it with Michonne's last episode, but I think if they killed Negan, the conflicts would have been different with the communities. They probably would have been more intense in season 9. Maybe Rick would be dead. Maybe that herd would have run through one of the communities. Maybe that would have created more conflict. And then maybe the Whisperers would have come in and wiped them all out because they couldn't get it together. But not before Lydia killed Alpha, which is a whole other story just played out in my head. I have no idea why.
Excellent.
But it's the butterfly effect. So,
Seth Gilliam, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Gabriel's leadership role expanded quite a bit this season, and he's another character who's had a tremendous arc from sort of, being kind of not terrified of the world initially to really embracing leadership roles. I mean, how do you feel about Gabriel gaining more power as a leader this season?
I feel great about it. The more power, the better. Power, more power. I think that I think Father Gabriel has kind of embraced, the inner voice in him that he feels is his communiques with God, and that he's got this is his purpose now. He failed in his first go around to protect his community and to protect his flock, locking them all outside of the church. And I think this is his chance. I think in his thinking, God has given him a second chance at leadership. And so he's going to do everything he can to do it correctly this time, to do the right thing.
And also to make some tough choices this season. He made some really tough choices this season.
Yes, he made some hard decisions, and he didn't do a lot of consultation outside of the little voice in his head, which I think he's been empowered by. I think surviving the way he has, I think he feels he's got a purpose, and so he is kind of justified in listening to the inner voice that tells him, stab that guy 48 times, he deserves it.
How thrilled were you when you learned that Carol was the one who let Negan out of his cell?
Oh my God, it couldn't have come fast enough. It's like, they're coming back around to, Father Gabriel, and Negan, and again, I'm like, come on, guys, they're not going to go back to that well a third time. We're not that desperate. We've got creative people on our side. They're going to come up with other things. It couldn't possibly be Father Gabriel again. But, I endured the hatred. and got past it, and I'm stronger for it.
Excellent. This is from This is for Josh McDermott. Walking Dead Theory on Instagram wants to know, Josh, what does Eugene see in Stephanie that he didn't see in Rosita?
Well, he's actually never seen Stephanie, so nice try, Walking Dead Theory on Instagram.
But she started, because Eugene's basically started the Hilltop AV Club, and so Stephanie has started her AV Club. So at least they're connecting on a tech level.
That does pose an interesting question, though. What does Eugene think Stephanie looks like? What image does he have of this voice?
I mean, I don't know that he's thought about that. I mean, they have similar interests, and I think that he's connecting with her on a level that he never really connected with Rosita on. And they're kind of into some nerdy things, and that's awesome. And she laughs at his weird references, and she has probably some of her own weird references. And obviously, I think Rosita and Eugene have a great relationship now. But when we first meet them together, it was a bit more adversarial, and it was kind of built on lies of having the cure to the apocalypse. And so they were obviously able to get past that. But what he's building with Stephanie is a stronger foundation. They're starting on a more solid foundation there. So I think he's excited about that. I think he's excited about moving forward with someone who's a little bit more, like-minded. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they end up not liking about each other. There's, maybe maybe he snores and Stephanie won't be able to, she can't stand that. I don't know.
That's kind of advancing things. I mean, going all the way to snoring.
Yeah, he jumped really far there, didn't he?
Yeah.
What about dinner?
He snores really loud. You can hear it throughout the entire community.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Maki Josh Tokyo on Twitter wants to know, Eugene has become very strong and reliable. How will he grow further, do you think?
I mean, I think that if you've ever been in a relationship and you're able to grow in that sense too, I think that's a place that's probably lacking in his life. I'm not saying he's definitely going to be in a relationship with Stephanie, but I'm hoping that there could be something more there so that he's able to grow within the boundaries of being in a relationship. They talk about, people talk about having a child and experiencing this immense growth as a human being and the love that you pour out for this child. And I think there's benefits to that just being in a relationship, a healthy relationship. And I think that's something that he's never really experienced. And so, I think I'd like to see him move in that direction. I would hope that he would get the chance for that.
Excellent. This is for Paula. Paula, first of all, welcome to your first Comic-Con. I'm sorry that it's a virtual Comic-Con and that you don't get to experience, 7,000 people screaming in Hall H, but we will get there. But everyone was so blown away by your performance as Princess. So what's it been like for you with the fan reaction? Is it it's been a few months since we did the Talking Dead that you were on. Have you noticed a real change? How do you feel about everything?
Well, honestly, it's mostly been online because I don't leave the house. I try not to. I mean, I go get groceries for the family and stuff, but all the interactions have mostly been online. But I mean, apart from, my dad saying, like, sometimes we'll be eating in the backyard and he'll be like, oh, there's a stalker right there in the fence. And I'm like, dude, no, not funny. So they always play with me. Like, we'll be at Costco. I'm not advertising Costco. I'm saying we'll be at a store and he'll say, like, oh, isn't that Paola Lázaro from Walking Dead? And I'm like, not. Like, it's so embarrassing. So apart from that, it's mostly been online, but it's been really beautiful because I've been, to share with the world something I worked so hard for, and to share with the world a character that I think has a huge heart, regardless of her struggles in the past, and mostly just my transparency. I've always been a very transparent person, and me sharing my journey and my struggles and my vulnerability with the audiences through the internet has enabled them to be vulnerable themselves about different struggles, and that has just enabled a beautiful conversation with them. So I'm just very thankful for that.
That's really wonderful. Turtle Tina C on Instagram wants to know, who would you love for Princess to have a scene with? Is there a character that you thought about?
Man, there's so many. I'm a huge Jeffrey DeMunn fan.
Oh.
Were you stretching there?
No, check it. Espérame, wait for me. I'm a huge Jeff DeMunn fan from theater and stuff like that. So
absolutely.
I miss my dude. But I would love to have seen. Now you think this is all contrived, Jeffrey Dean. Listen, I would love to have scenes with Negan because both of our characters are very wild, very extroverted, very wordy. So I wonder who would win that match in words. But I have to admit, my favorite character is Carol, and I just want Carol to like Princess. That's all. I'm just throwing that out there for the writers in the world who, do their typing and stuff. Just I'm a very big fan of Carol, so that's all I have to say on that.
Well, thank you so much. Again, when you're able to go to Comic-Con like in person, it's going to blow you away. It's one of the best experiences in the world. So I hope we get to do that with you next year.
Hopefully someday.
Yes. This is for Angela from Tamara on Facebook. Since you probably have to change the way you shoot episodes, is that an exciting challenge for you and the writers, or is it a pain in the butt?
I mean, these are just unprecedented times for everyone. So I think it's just something that we are all approaching with the greatest creativity we can. There's definitely things that we miss in some of the writing we're doing for the first episodes back. But at the same time, sometimes the limits that are placed on you lead to like a lot of amazing creativity. So we've just been diving into great character work. Hopefully great character work. I don't want to like pat ourselves on the back too soon. We still have a lot to do. But, it's really important to us that everybody feels comfortable shooting and that we're safe when we do it. And so if that means that we've got to change things up a little bit, that's not a huge burden for us. We get to sit and make up stories in our heads, and these wonderful actors bring it to life. And that's an incredible privilege.
This is from Tom L on Facebook for Lauren. How excited are you for the moment that little Herschel and Judith meet?
I know. I want to meet little Herschel. And then for him to, yeah. But I'm so excited. It was really nice because I hadn't known Kaylee before, and then spending time with her and watching her work and watching how this season has just been such a torch with how the writers have written young people and how we've gotten to see the world through all these younger people's eyes. And so I feel really excited because Kaylee's so good that whoever we find for Herschel and pairing them together is just going to result in some really illuminating conversations. So on all those levels, like meeting the people and seeing everything that the writers create for these kids I'm just super jazzed, basically.
Jeffrey, this is from T. Guyton on Instagram, and it's, does Negan want Lucille back, or will he get a new weapon and call it Rick? Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
That could be a step back. I think it would be great to get Lucille back. We may have moved past that at this point. I tend to forget how many years have actually passed since we've last seen Lucille. In our world, it's only been a couple seasons, but in the Walking Dead world, we're looking at a decade, damn near. So he may have moved past the Lucille of it all a little bit, but we'll see. I sure wouldn't be scared to see her again and hold her again. In the comic book when he loses Lucille, I missed that scene. We never got to do that scene, and I always loved it. That kind of emotional, because Lucille represents so much to him beyond a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, and I always loved that. But it's hard. We've moved so kind of far away from that at this point. We'll see what Angela, Scott, and the gang come up with.
Excellent. We just have a handful of minutes left, so I just want to make sure we get a couple more kind of rapid fire questions in before we wrap it up. This is from Margaret C. on Facebook. Josh, what do you miss most about not being on set right now?
Filling up my lungs with JDM's musk. The guy smells great. Oh my gosh. I meant Jeffrey DeMunn. I meant Jeffrey about that. Oh, I love it.
Oh, man, I miss Josh's timing is what I miss.
I miss you guys.
We miss you.
too.
This is for Seth from Walker Stalker 67. Seth, is there anything about playing the role of Father Gabriel that has been especially difficult for you to adjust to?
Wearing all that black has been really hard. I keep thinking when I go back, okay, I'm going to be used to it now. I'm comfortable with it. You know, it's like a second skin. But man, it just draws in the heat and it just sucks up the sun and it's just brutal. It's just brutal, and I'm gamey and sweaty and hot and sticky and just kind of gross the entire time, no matter how much Axe I spray all over myself. There's just a feeling of...
So Josh should be missing your mask too.
I enjoy it, actually.
I wasn't really comfortable in the black, even all these years gone by. So that's...
What about the eyeball?
The eyeball I love, man. That takes like 2 or 3 minutes to put in, and you know, I've said before I get really babied, by the staff about it. So it's really cool to make me feel like a rock star, and it's a cool look. I love the eye. It's that damn black.
This is for Paula 19A15 on Instagram. Wants to know if your character had their own animal companion like Daryl has dog. What animal would it be, and what would you name it?
Cool. Okay. I've always wanted to name an animal Risky, like risky, but with my accent, so Risky.
Okay.
And I think I would choose an eagle because they can fly above the walkers, and I can send messages, and there's less probability of them getting bit. So I would just have it right next to me and let it fly when it needs to, when the herd is coming, and Risky.
That's a great answer. That's a really good answer.
I like the eagle.
Yeah. Gracias.
You could train an eagle? Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Hawk, but I like the eagle.
No, the eagle's amazing. This is for Scott. A couple questions left here. Scott from So Clarabella on Instagram. If you could create a spin-off series all about one character's life pre-apocalypse, who would you choose?
If we're talking pre-apocalypse, I'd go right to Glenn because A, I miss working with Steven.
Yeah.
B, it would be funny, and I like the funny.
All right.
I think there's that. But I will say, we're working on things where we are looking at past characters. Maybe not whole series, but yeah, we're looking at things where we can take a peek at. Maybe not pre-apocalypse, but early in the apocalypse, we're looking at folks. So get excited about that. And with all this love for Jeffrey DeMunn, I got to get on that.
Come on. I dressed.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I dressed up as him for our Halloween episode of Talking Dead last season. It was great. I
saw him on stage in New York, and it's just it's incredible.
All right.
So is Jeffrey Dean Morgan, of course.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Dig in the hole, whatever.
The note, Negan.
I want a show about Risky.
I know.
I do too.
Risky the eagle.
I'm just taking story notes.
How about Hardwick shining shirt?
Just take my shining carpet shirt.
Yeah.
So this question's for Angela. This is from Feng Shui. This is from Feng Shui Katie on Twitter. Angela, how will you continue to ensure that The Walking Dead is one of the most diverse, inclusive shows on television?
I mean, I think inclusion is sort of a core value of The Walking Dead. Robert Kirkman's comic shows an incredibly diverse group of survivors, people from all walks of life. I think, like the message is like there's there's no one type of person that makes the ideal survivor. Everybody has to come together, just like the show has to reflect the people that are in this country that are fighting to survive. And I think it's part of the message of the show. It's not something that we do to put on a public face or whatever. It's something that's really important to the storytelling. And so I think we try to ensure it by continually hiring amazing actors that, from all races, sexual orientations, ability, looking at diversity across all axes, and we bring them into our fold. And we try to do that on the behind the scenes camera side too. And we're always trying to improve. So it's just something that's very important to me personally, as well as just to the values of the show. So thanks for asking the question.
No, thank you for your answer. And then as we're wrapping this out, Angela, is there anything, what are you excited about for people to see finally in the season 10 finale that's going to air October 4th?
Oh my gosh, it's so trippy because it's been like a million years since we worked on it. But, I think Greg did an amazing job directing the episode. The writers did an amazing job writing it. The actors, it was really fun to see it all come to life. I'm excited for people to see what happens with Beta, what happens with Carol and kind of her revenge arc, just Daryl in his leadership role. I'll say that Seth has some amazing scenes in this episode. The Commonwealth group, we will get to I think what's a pretty cool point for them on their journey. It's just everybody's at play. We see the return of Maggie. Negan has a key role to play. Every person in the cast they are an important part of the puzzle. So I'm really excited for everybody to just see our whole group doing their thing, working together to, face what's in front of them.
And literally the last 5 minutes of the episode, just take it to a whole other place. Which I can't wait for people to say it.
I know you want to say it so bad. At least we know when we're going to get to see it now. There was just that big question mark of when are we going to get to see this episode, and knowing not only are we going to get the season 10 finale October 4th, but also this sort of extended season 10 as well. I should also remind people that October 4th at 9 p.m. 8 Central, we're going to get the season 10 finale. Then the premiere episode of Walking Dead World Beyond, followed by Talking Dead. So there is a lot to look forward to, a lot of Walking Dead to look forward to. It's so wonderful to see all your faces. I really hope to see you in person soon. It just brings me such joy to see you all smiling, and I'm so happy that we got to do this. And for you watching at home or wherever you are, I miss that we're not on stage. That Hall H stage has been the home of some of my favorite moments of all time in my life. I miss it. I miss you. And I can't wait to see you all next year. Thank you so much for watching this. And thanks to everyone for being here. We've had Angela Kang, Greg Nicotero, Scott M. Gimple, Paula Lazaro, Josh McDermott, Seth Gilliam, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and also Lauren Cohan. Wonderful to see her back here as well. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you really soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.